Okay, I'll let people in.
Yeah,
Yeah, both of you are ready.
Yeah. So many people I know are here. Stressed already.
Okay.
Yes,
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here today um, for our expressive conversations. Expressive Conversations is our attempt to facilitate a dialogue between our audience and professionals in the field of mental health and emotional well-being. Today we have with us Divya Kandukuri and Christy Nag, who are both part of the Blue Dawn. Blue Dawn is a mental health care support group for Bahujans. It connects marginalized persons to affordable and accessible mental health services. I will briefly introduce both Christy and Divya and then hand it over to them very quickly. Christy Nag is an Adivasi of Munda tribe whose work lies in the intersections of Adivasi, transgender, and child rights. Since 2016, she has been working along with Adivasi youth from tea gardens in Duars and is a member of Prayatna, striving for equality. Christy is pursuing integrated MPhil PhD at TIS, Mumbai, and is a member of the queer collective TIS, Adivasi Students Forum TIS, and the Blue Dawn. She has been writing on Adivasi concerns from an Adivasi perspective and has bylines in Youth Ki Awaaz and First Post. Welcome, Christy. Thank you for being with us today. Divya Kandukuri is an anti-caste activist and founder of the Blue Dawn, a support group and facilitator of accessible mental health care services for Bahujan communities. She's also a freelance journalist and video producer whose work lies around the intersections of caste, gender, pop culture, and mental health. Welcome, Divya. Thank you for being with us today. I will now hand it over to you. Please
Yeah.
take it forward.
Thank you. Thank you, Satvik. Thanks everyone for being here today. I see so many known faces and people who have been supporting Blue Dawn as well are here. So glad. Um, so today we have Christy here. Christy is a very dear friend of mine and have been working with me as well. And I hope you all know them from their work too. And this is an opportunity to know more about them as well as their work. Um, so, Christy, before I want you, before I give any formal intro or anything, I want you to tell us what you do, what have you been working on, and what you like and don't like also is fine. Yeah, so why don't you take the mic?
Firstly, thank you, Satvik, for the wonderful introduction that you did. Um, so I am right now based in Mumbai and doing my MPhil, completed my MPhil, struggling in my PhD, and इसके अलावा I'm part of Prayatna, it's a youth group, students group in Tea Garden, comprising of Adivasi students there. So I'm part of the collective and I work along with the students, Adivasi students there. Um, इसके अलावा मतलब that's it.
So, Christy, why don't you tell us about your personal journey, being someone from Adivasi community in university spaces, are also constantly talking about research and something I know. So why don't you introduce us to that?
Uh, the thing is like have to talk about that. I'll have to give a bit of history of my family per se. So um, my grandparents they migrated from Jharkhand to Asansol. Asansol is a Bengali city west in West Bengal, and I do not remember the exact year, but then what I remember my grandmother telling us as in, it was for the reasons, one of the primary reason was famine in her village, in their village. So they migrated there here, uh, and so my father, so since my grandparents, we have been living in Asansol, and I did my education in a Christian missionary school, English medium school. So one of the uh, one of the things that bugs me till date is that this entire education system kind of divorces us from our culture per se. So be it missionary school or be it public schools per se, government-run public schools, or this ashram schools, the entire pedagogy or the entire education per se, the stories that is there in the schools in the books is not from Adivasi communities. It is we do not learn our language, we do not get to learn our stories, our cultures, our values per se. That is something to some extent our families try to do that. Uh, but our engagement with when it comes to the larger society through schools, through market spaces, it becomes very different. So that is where this entire thing of resurgence is becomes crucial to me per se of decolonizing myself and of getting back, like of knowing myself, understanding myself as a Munda Adivasi person. So
Thank you, Christy, for that. So, while you are at it, I also want to know this idea of development because you mentioned education system. We know that the schools, like there are schools by Hindu missionaries as well as Christian missionaries, where they will go to a community that is uh, marginalized or oppressed according to them and go try to civilize the communities and bring development, not just civilize, as well as introduce projects, bring development. We know companies like Vedanta have been trying to do something in Odisha, and across the country we have similar projects, right? So, want to know your perspective on this whole idea of development, right? Especially as someone coming from Adivasi community.
um, the way I look at development is like uh, if I have to look at development per se or the development that Indian government has been uh, uh, like uh, जो डेवलपमेंट इंडियन गवर्नमेंट कर रही है जिस डेवलपमेंट प्रोसेस में इंडियन गवर्नमेंट इन्वॉल्व है it is very much capitalistic in nature and has its roots from in colonialism per se. So with the idea कि okay इनको मतलब and again who pays the cost of development is something crucial. Development for whom those questions are something crucial. So um, so the present development model that India has, so it encourages forceful accumulation of land and resources, primarily from Adivasi tribal communities across India, and it is based on surplus. It is surplus driven. It instills privatization of resources and like forcefully taking away from the communities which have historically owned those resources, or not just owned but they nurtured those resources as well. So that is what development. That is what I look at development. So, for example, um, look at any major development project. For example, Koel Karo Dam. So it's second. So I was just doing some research and found that second Feb 2001 May, police opened fire on 2,000 Adivasis at Tapkara village. who were protesting the Koel Karo Dam. And then again, Sardar Sarovar Dam, which got constructed, is still on. So it has caused eviction of 41,000 Adivasi families. Um, then, if we look at Jharkhand and Orissa, we all praise Tata Group, but then Tata Groups have actually forcefully taken land from Adivasi communities to do their mining for the mining projects in Jharkhand and in Orissa. Recently, last year, uh, Adani Group took up land in Goda in Jharkhand for their coal mining, and again, they took up land from Orissa, like Sundargarh to Goda, to construct railway tracks so that they can transport their coal. So again, all of these development is done on Adivasi land,
Right.
taking away Adivasis के जंगल जल जंगल जमीन पर से. So
Resulting
yeah,
in
matlab the list can actually go on and on. Like look at Mumbai also, the coastal road project that is there. It is again on Adivasi land. The metro project that was yeah, that they were trying to construct was on Adivasi land in RA. It got stalled recently. Like this year only it got stalled. That's what I read.
RA forest.
Huh. So,
Yeah. Thank you, Christy. While you're talking about this, I was recalling this wonderful poem by Abhay Khaka. So, for those of you who don't know, I posted it in the chat as well. Abhay Khaka is an activist, is an academic, and a scholar who have been like extensively working on this. So, Christy, would you like to read, like, if you want, like, or should I do that?
you can read Divya, but I would love to listen.
Sure. So, without taking so much time, I would like to read this. I'm not your project or any exotic museum object. I'm not the soul waiting to be harvested, nor am I the lab where your theories are tested. I'm not your cannon fodder or the invisible worker or your entertainment at India Habitat Center. I'm not your field, your crowd, your history, your help, your guilt, medallions of your history. I reject, resist your labels, your judgments, documents, definitions, your models, leaders, and patrons, because they deny me my existence, my vision, my space. Your words, maps, figures, indicators, they all create illusions and put you on pedestal from where you look down upon me. So I draw my own picture and invent my own grammar. I make my own tools to fight my own battle. For me, my people, my world, and my Adivasi self. Abhay Kaka. So, carrying forward on this mood that we have on right now, um, can you elaborate? So, we've been talking about how displacement, how this whole capitalistic development that people talk about, even sustainability for that matter, right? Like this whole new age about being sustainable are also rooted in capitalism. When I say like things like veganism, or it's controversial, but yeah, it needs to be spoken out because it exploits the workers who are again from the indigenous community. So on these lines, also, I want to know how does this impact mental health for someone from the community, and what is its influence?
So, if you look into this entire, the way development is carried out, it is colonial. Colonialism. Like you can see aspects of colonialism here. That is closely attached to the ways the Indian government has been carrying out development post-independence as well. So, and um, and again, the press and if you look into the mental health discourse as well, it has its roots in colonialism per se. So this entire thing of uh, how to say, the so this entire creation of a myth about Adivasis per se. And by that I mean, uh, still at present, if you look into academia, the understanding of Adivasis is in line with, you will hear words of primitive, words like primitive when it comes to Adivasis. And this entire discourse again sets, percolates in the education system as well when we are talking of uh, and along like and this along with the idea of Adivasis being primitive, the idea that how to the creation of this entire quote unquote normal that has taken place along with this uh, uh, and is perceived a departure from normality. By that I mean there are communities and their way of life. There are certain communities and their way of life is considered as quote unquote normal, and there are certain communities and their way of life is considered departure from normality. And then when and this entire medicalization of departure from normality, uh, you can look very closely throughout this entire health discourse, like not just mental health, but then in general health. And what has happened is this making social problems, like issues which are actually social in nature, which are with, making it into health problems. Like the moment you make a social problem into health problems, it diverts the blame for quote unquote sickness, and the responsibility for healing goes from society to or the community, or say the state, to the one who is suffering.
Right. Christy, you used the word sentence that making social problems into the health as an health issue. Can you elaborate on what you mean by that?
Um, by that I mean, like, okay, this one example that I can give of um, from education, from schools per se. So school पे अगर हम जाते हैं तो we uh, we do not, like, the textbooks do not contain our stories, Adivasi community ki stories. It is not in Adivasi language. We are learning entirely different, like entirely outside culture, entirely outside community ke value systems per se. And there again we expected to excel, whereas the values, the practices at home is very different. So that and again when and again the teacher there is not Adivasi. They are again from non-Adivasi two communities from caste society per se. So uh, and the question then rises not on the education system but on the student. Ki, theek hai, you are a slow learner. Intervention needs to be done on the student, on the Adivasi student. Ki, theek hai, you are a slow learner, but not looking at the social issues within the system or within the education structure itself, which excludes the Adivasi student studying in that
Right.
school.
Right. Thank you. So, in such a scenario, as you mentioned earlier, also, even this are colonized, the way you're putting it about mental health sector or health sector per se. So, what do you mean, like, when you say that, even the mental health structure that exists is colonized? These are also, but specific communities. So, what of it as people coming from certain oppressed communities, right? Be it Bahujan communities, be it Asi communities, or Muslim communities. So, in such structure, which is so dominant in nature, right? So, uh, what do we make out of it? Like, how do we look at these services in general? Or if you can give example, that would be great.
The way your voice was breaking a bit, but then whatever I understood from your question, I will share it. It's fine, or you want to repeat again?
Yeah, should I repeat my question?
That would be nice.
Yeah. No, I was influence of these services. Okay, there is a mental health structure and certain services. And me from certain artist community, be it an Adivasi community or a Bahujan community, I'm going there to access that service. So what happens after that? Like this is something you discuss with me or we discuss all the time, but I want you to elaborate on this fact that there are services that are they really accessible, or are students able to access this service to the fullest?
So to answer that, uh, so this entire colonial idea or this like this entire understanding of who an Adivasi is, the colonial understanding of who an Adivasi is, um, uh, still exists. That has not eroded away, and it still dictates policies. It still dictates services, essential services for Adivasi community. So that entire understanding of कि आदिवासी है तो एक तो वो जंगलों में पाए जाएंगे, दूसरा वो प्रिमिटिव है, उनको रहना नहीं आता है, उनको खाना पीना नहीं आता है, so they are not civilized per se. Adivasis are not civilized. So this entire idea, this entire colonial understanding of Adivasis has um, uh, it is still prevalent, and you will see it in policies as well. So I just wanted to read out. Wait, I'll just read out this section from um, from the third report of the Parliamentary Standing Committee on intersectoral issues relating to tribal development. So there is no place for community and its system of self-governance in this frame of the Constitution. Thus, the tribal got stripped of the protective shield of community, the very essence of his being. He is obliged to face the unknown world all alone. Moreover, all practices sanctified by the Hori tradition, which comprise of the core of tribal self-governance, have been transformed into acts of violation of the law of the land. It has resulted in criminalization of community and also de jure loss of community's command over resources in the face of other legal claims. And this is something which is evident when you look at the legislative changes that has been taking place. Forest Rights Act, mining को लेके जो laws उसमें amendments आ रहे हैं. फिर this entire farming bills that is being promoted, that will again affect Adivasi ways of farming per se, which is so it's going to affect that as well. So the and again as and again if you look into specifically mental health discourse, I guess we have discussed multiple times. It has its this entire DSM model is still prevalent, which mental health practitioners still follow, and that again has its roots in colonialism. It was when colonialism was in its initial phases. It has its roots back then, and it got remodified again and again, but then not leaving its colonial understanding of who an Adivasi is. So, and that again, this entire diagnostic and statistical manual of mental disorders per se, again looks at certain ways of life or ways of being or ways of living as normal and certain ways of living as the deviation from normal, and in which again, again it has that moralistic understanding of again what is mental health. Um, so so any deviation has to it again any deviation that is there, it has certain labels कि हाँ ठीक है इसका मतलब, for example, the thing that I was talking about, slow learner. So it's a deviation. So it's a slow learner, and intervention is proposed for the for the quote unquote slow learner, but not looking into the social and historical context जो वहाँ पर है. So so that is again mental health. What it does, like the entire discourse or the entire the research around mental health or mental health practice per se, or mental health services per se, um, many times many fails to look at the context and decontext like decontextualize the uh, quote unquote problem situations that is there.
Right.
Without looking at the context, if you're just doing some kind of intervention, it
Right.
will fail to address the causes. Like,
Right. Yeah. And thereby also individualizing this whole issue that person may be going through, right? Um, so on this note, you worked extensively on education, especially you also worked in tea gardens education ko leke, and um, like you have been supporting students, all of you have been collectively doing, and many of them uh, cracked entrance exams of Ajim Premji and TIS, big universities, and now are from tea gardens they are at TIS Mumbai and like are doing their MPhil, PhD, and master. So um, what is the experience of you included and the students from Adivasi communities at university campuses? That is one. In that only, I wanted to ask a sub question: is that there is a lot of conversation that happens at university spaces, thankfully now, on caste, right? And the one thing that I've learned being on campus from the Adivasi Student Forum or any Adivasi student groups is that they constantly say that we are outside the caste society. So that thereby invisibilizes the issues that are faced by Adivasis as well. So I would like to know your opinion on these two things. Um, yeah.
um, university spaces, or not just university, it's just the entire education, uh, formal education through spaces there. Um, it still is, it still fails to be inclusive of Adivasi students, Adivasi communities, for like in general. And by that, I also mean matlab, the classroom discourses, the classroom discourses के साथ साथ in general what the community ये university का जो environment है, it is it excludes Adivasis in many ways. Just one so the two incidents that I want to share, one is from my own life, the other one is that I guess we all know about. So while I was filling one form in the academic section in my university, so looking at ST, the concerned person, the concerned official asked me, okay, तुम लोग तो जंगल में पाए जाते, तुम यहाँ क्या कर रहे हो? So that is again University of Social Science. So that was kind of shocking to me. How like what is this? And you do not know also how to respond. Then इसके साथ साथ the other incident that I want to talk about is of Maruna Murmu. The so she is a faculty. She is a professor at Jadavpur University, and there again a student from a different college in Calcutta University writes on her Facebook post, ki, okay, look at um, uh, uh, so you are a quota professor. So just like just reducing her to being like, okay, तुमने तो बस जो कुछ भी है तुम्हारा कोटा की वजह से है. So then and this is uh, again just like I remember like while I was in my 10th and then 11th, 12th, in school also, like the entire, like my friends, they would tell me, okay, तुम तो आदिवासी हो, ST certificate है, तुम लोग के लिए तो सब चीज easy है. So this uh, reservation at one extent is there to support us to, but then people, the general understanding of reservation is कि हाँ ठीक है इनके लिए सब तो easy करना है, sort of thing. But failing to understand कि okay, it is with respect to representation, because certain communities historically have not been given representation. So that understanding again, in various ways, percolates down to school level, to university spaces, and uh, and that has an influence. How to say that has an, it creates an expectation on students as well. So the other day I was talking with some friends, and we were just discussing uh, the financial support that is there for ST students, and in some universities it extends to OBC students as well. So from economically, there's economic bracket as well. Let's, I guess, for Adivasis, for ST students, it is students with family income less than 2.5 lakhs. So, but then again, there is that support is extended, but with a underlying expectation कि ठीक है तुमको मतलब हम ये support कर रहे हैं तुमको you have to either perform well in classes, you have to behave well in classes, you cannot be critical of the discourses in classes. So that kind of expectation is there, and it is visible from the lecturers as well. It is not given as right per se, even though it is right. It is a legal right that is there, but it is not extended as right. It is extended um, as charity with the underlying expectation कि ठीक है तुमको you have to behave quote unquote well. I remember in Xavier, sorry, not take me. Uh, my like a hostel warden, they told us हम तो तुमको chicken खिलाते हैं, and you have to behave well. So that expectation is not there for other students.
Yeah.
This is specifically for students coming from marginalized communities. Expectation would be a very mellow term to say, but then that's
Yeah. It's, I get what you mean. And also, if you have an iPhone or something, then so you're done for. Like how?
oh yes.
Yeah.
Can I take just 1 minute to share one incident? So I was coming in flight from Siliguri to Mumbai, and unfortunately, the person, like the couple sitting next to me, elderly couple like next to me, um, uh, we had a small talk sort of thing. So this uh, auntie, she was not able to switch on the light. So I just helped her, and then उससे small talk शुरू हो गया. And small talk में बातें आ गई, okay, where are you from? Who are you? So I just told her, okay, I'm Adivasi from ये from West Bengal only, but from Asansol, and I'm just heading back to Mumbai. Okay, okay, and then she just told me, okay, मेरे घर पे भी आदिवासी हैं. Okay, बहन तुझे यहाँ जाने की जरूरत नहीं है. Like she was talking about the domestic help that she has employed at her home. And then they again just directly went to this rant of, oh, I treat her so well, I keep her as my family and this and that. And then she saw my, like, I had some work. I took out my laptop, it's Apple. And the moment she, oh, तुम्हारे पास Apple, how do you maintain that? And she literally asked me that. I was like, okay, I don't know how to respond.
Sorry that you had to go through that. So yeah, the second part of my question was also related to that. Like once you cross all this and come and you take active part in student politics, again there is another layer, even for the people, students of social sciences, to explain this whole thing. I'm sorry for asking you to explain it to all of us again, but can you like speak a little about indigeneity and Yeah.
Um, if I talk of indigenous communities, one thing we need to remember that it is not homogeneous in nature. There are like बहुत सारे आदिवासी कम्युनिटीज हैं. अगर हम झारखंड में ही देखें तो there are Oraos, Munda, then Ho, Santhal. So there are multiple, and ये महाराष्ट्र में there is Wali community, then मध्य प्रदेश तरफ जाएंगे तो गोंड है. इसके अलावा और भी कम्युनिटीज हैं जिनके नाम शायद मुझे नहीं पता होंगे. तो बट what is important to remember is like there are multiple communities with multiple and their practices and cultures and their way of being, a way of life is different, but at the same time there are overlapping. Like it is not that keep well different here, but then we need to recognize that okay, these are different distinct communities. At the same time, we have overlapping practices that is there. So that is something basic that we need to be mindful of.
Yeah. So I asked you that question because my next question was related to that. You have been vocal about the community healing practices, the community liberation practices that indigenous people have been practicing for years. And we see on social media or anywhere, we see posts about self-care, right? It looks different for different people, but the popular capitalistic idea of self-care that I've come across is putting on sheet mask. I also do that, but it's just like being the poster, whatever of like, self. So I wanted to ask you like about these very practices that indigenous communities have been practicing, something that you have seen around you or in your own household or yourself with your own group as well. You can share some.
I can share something that that I witnessed in Tea Gardens first, and so there I met a group of women, and they call the group Sahita, and they help each other financially, as in so these are daily wage tea garden like workers, and the day they get their monthly wage, so they would have the meeting maybe just a week or just the next day when the wage comes, and they would support each other. As in, suppose Divya, me, and a few of us are in the group, and today is Divya's turn to receive the financial support. Then the rest of us will just take out maybe 100 rupees or whatever the group has decided and give it to Divya. And next day it will be my turn. So and that is one big, this small financial support is just one little aspect of it. But in the meeting, they would be talking about the concerns and issues that they have been having in their family, how they are dealing with it. If they need any other support from each other, they would be like giving suggestions to each other, and that is something beautiful. So,
thank you. I was yeah, thank you for saying that, because I was also in my last session with Smart only, I was mentioning about how I've seen my mother and her friends doing something similar to come out of domestic violence, to come out of the caste oppression and everything. So when we have such practices within our community, why do you think these are not considered as spectrum per se? Like, I'm not saying these need to be called under, like, it's okay that we have our own, but the fact that mental health professionals do not consider this wisdom that our communities have, or we go like the wisdom that we also have, right? When we sit in a therapy room, also we know where we are coming from, we know our roots. So why do you think this gets dismissed all the time?
So one primary reason is maybe I can think of actually two, three reasons, but one of the primary reasons is that this entire mental health field is um, has is colonial in its nature, as in it is set by, as many times you have mentioned, dead white men. This entire DSM model or the mental health discourse in general is set by dead white men, and we need to decolonize mental health, and that is a conscious effort. But then the other issue is representation within mental health practitioners itself. As in, if we look into India के context में, majority of mental health practitioners are from caste society, and within caste, they are primarily upper caste Savarna communities से हैं. So then how do we decolonize it? I'm not saying that like these Savarna mental health practitioners cannot endeavor to decolonize. They can, they should, but then that is lacking. And uh, uh, so, so I was just so imagine if you're going like like as a trans woman, I'm saying, imagine me going to a therapy room where I'm just seeing couples ke pictures or babies ke pictures and just a happy couple sort of thing. So how that space for me, how would I relate with that? Or me going to a mental health therapy room where I'm seeing Ganesh or all these Hindu idols and they're just those pictures. So then how do I relate with therapy? These are the small things I'm talking about. Um, इसके अलावा there is and you're right in pointing out that there is this the dismissal of communities wisdom with respect to health in general, with respect to mental health, and again, if you look at it, there is this sometimes I feel there is a conscious effort of controlling all these services. Because if you're dismissing and if you're saying, okay, this is the way and this is how it should be done, then we have to go to you for those services. So it is again controlling of this services, and again this business model of mental health that you can see here.
Thank you. The point that you mentioned, that when you go to a counseling center and you see these pictures of some gods from Hindu religion or any religion that has been oppressive towards certain communities, and you see that, and this happened to me. I was so like nervous about entering that space and saying what's going on with me, because I don't know what the therapist is coming from, and this idea that the mental health professional should be apolitical. They say that they have to be apolitical, but they'll have these pictures of gods and they'll have pictures of cishet couples and all of that in their counseling centers. I mean, it's just goes beyond above my head, but also we have to keep track of time. Before taking questions, I want to ask you, what is the way forward for us? Like also, I want to connect everything that you spoken about to the issue of development as well, especially in current regime where Achhe Din are coming. So this idea of mental health also, this whole set up by upper caste mental health professionals and NGO heads and everything is also a monopoly, and this whole illusion of Achhe Din for their clients, as they call it, or people accessing mental health services is what I believe. And as you rightly put, I think we should run this campaign #decolonize mental health. But yeah, I want to ask you, like, what is the way forward according to you?
So I would just maybe talk on how maybe certain things that I can think, certain ways that I can think of with respect to decolonizing mental health. One being this DSM model is redundant, and we have to look, and even if you're using DSM model, we have to contextualize it. But the first thing is that model itself is redundant. But and if you want to look at it, it needs to be contextualized. Like when and how it was produced, this entire model, how it was developed, and for who it benefited, this entire model. Second thing that I can think of is we need to stop making social problems into health problems. So there are certain problems, like certain issues which are socially constructed, and we need to be mindful of that and not relate it, like, and not like make it a health problem and see it as a health problem. Um, mm, uh, to to explain that further, I just do not mean mental health problems. I also mean health problems in general. Um, like we are living in this pandemic, but then again look at it, who with like ये pandemic कौन से pin code को ज़्यादा affect कर रहा है, sort of thing within Mumbai. Like Mumbai is affected, but then within Mumbai कौन से pin code को ज़्यादा affect कर रहा है. So those are certain things that we need to look at it, and it is not. Of course, it is a health concern, but then it escalated also more because of the because of how social structures are in place. Um, uh, because of this COVID, migrant workers have been affected a lot. Like they lost their livelihood, they had to travel long distances on foot or on cycle. So again, एक तो health concern है, but then this entire how ये at the same time it is a social problem as well. So we need to address that as well. We cannot just make it हाँ ठीक है कोविड के वजह से ही गए हैं इतने दूर पैदल. It is not a health problem. It is a social problem there then. So we need to maybe look at that and make some distinction and see how social problems translate to health problems and ensure that it does not happen. And also looking at communities' way of like respecting communities' way of looking them at themselves and how they understand and look at themselves. So that is something crucial for me. So one other example that I can talk of is Dhumkuria. It is a pedagogy specifically from Orao Adivasi community. And if you read on Dhumkuria, academicians, anthropologists, they have highly sexualized it. But in general, but what Dhumkuria is, it is just a way of teaching, learning and unlearning things for youth. And it is like उस पर में एग्रीकल्चर आ जा रहा है, बहुत सारे और भी एस्पेक्ट्स आ जा रहे हैं, कम्युनिटीज वे ऑफ ये of living life, of communities values per se. So all of those things are there. But since they are living in a dormitory, it is highly sexualized by Savarna academicians. So we need to locate what the community is saying and look at what the community like what the community is saying and how and community's wisdom or with respect to health and mental health. So because these are not issues that we are just right now मतलब exploring हाँ ठीक है ये नया issue है. These have been there historically, and communities have been dealing with it, addressing it in their own ways. So we need to understand those as well. Communities, they have their own wisdom of dealing and addressing it. And we need to respect that and explore that as well.
Thank you so much, Christy. This was really insightful and much needed. And someone asked if you can repeat the term that you used about this practice. If you can mention on the chat, maybe.
It is not a practice. Dhumkuria is a pedagogy. It is a way of teaching.
Right. So, Christy, can I proceed to the questions that we have? So we have two questions from the people who registered, as well as we have some here. So I'll start with these that I have with me. So the question is the effect of social structures on mental health similar across underserved, marginalized, or oppressed populations?
Can you repeat the question again? Is the
Is the effect of social structures on mental health similar across underserved, marginalized, or oppressed communities?
the effect of mental health? Matlab, the thing is, there are multiple social structures that influence mental health. It is not just the same. So, of course, there are similarities, but just saying that कि हाँ ठीक है ये overall बिल्कुल सब same है, and the root causes are the same. That would I think that would not do justice because there are multiple social structures that that affect mental health, and
Yeah.
that minuteness nuances is kind of important when we're talking about it.
Thank you. So also, since someone asked this question, I wanted to mention about the workshop that Blue Dawn is going to do with SMART. So Blue Dawn, in collaboration with SMART, we are organizing a workshop on social structures, mental health, caste, and indigeneity, and how it has its effect on mental health, and how we as individuals, mental health practitioners, or social workers can collectively find a way forward. So if you want to take part in the workshop, the registrations will be open soon. Please check the updates from on the SMART handles. Satvik, if you can put up more details about it in the chat, it would be helpful. So the workshop is going to be on will start on May 7th, 8th, and then the next weekend, 13th and 14th. Yeah, Satvik will post updates, and I'll go to the second question. आदिवासी समाज में आए मानसिक दबावों से कैसे उबारा जाए?
Again, for this, looking at the community's way of community's wisdom with respect to mental health, that is something crucial for me when it comes to addressing mental health concerns in general, and also looking at um, the root causes per se. So if I have to talk for myself for that matter, um, so one this entire colonial ways of development, which is rooted on dispossession and forcefully grabbing land and resources that
Yeah.
was historically owned and nurtured by Adivasis.
Right.
That is something that has a huge role to play when it comes to mental health. Simultaneously, along with that, is the state. This entire development is state sponsored. So by that I mean who do, take हम कहाँ पर फिर जाए?
Right.
Because state is again, if I look into the constitution for sure, if I look into the state and citizens, for me it is a relationship that we have. It is a contract that we have with the state, that the state promises to take care of us, take care, and we are there to support the state in this entire endeavor. So that is how I look at state and state per se, and our relationship with state. So and state in multiple ways has failed. So and maybe we need to hold accountable, we need to hold state accountable, we need to hold corporates accountable, and this is something I'm remembering नक्सलबाड़ी से एक एक्टिविस्ट है, forgetting her name. So I do not remember the exact quote, but just I'm paraphrasing her. I'm just saying it in my words. So she said कि right now in independent India, where everyone is ours, it is difficult to point out whom to fight, किसके साथ हम लड़ाई लड़े. Because अभी सभी कोई हमारे ही हैं, अपने ही हैं. State is our own. We are Indian. So अब किसके साथ हम अपने हकों की लड़ाई लड़े, किसके खिलाफ लड़ाई लड़े, that is difficult to pinpoint.
Yeah.
But again, coming back, so it is important to look at communities' wisdom of the way communities have been addressing mental health. One that I just spoke of was this group in Tea Garden Sahayata. There are multiple other groups that they form. And when I asked some of the group members, how did you learn to form this group? They just said, okay, मेरी दादी नानी एक करते थे तो हम लोग ये चीज सीख गए वहां से. So it is again transferred from generation to generation. So that being said, इसके साथ साथ this entire I guess it can be another conversation to be a good ally.
Yeah.
So that is another thing. मतलब, just looking at being critical of this academic discourses or this policies that is there with respect to Adivasis. When it comes to education, when it comes to resources, land, uh, and multiple other policies that is there, like state and the academic discourse, where Adivasis are constantly said ki, uh, you are primitive, you are by that meaning you're obsolete, and by that also meaning you are not civilized. So being critical, not just critical, like just destroying these discourses as well, and being mindful in our day-to-day life as well. Okay, okay. Just for example, this flight में जो ये aged woman, like she told me, okay, मेरे घर पे भी I know आदिवासीज, मेरे घर पे भी आदिवासी लोग रहते हैं. So just being mindful of how and what you're saying and how you're conducting yourself. So this is something I just want to read out. I read it today itself. Um, when one's culture, behaviors, norms are criticized and devalued, it becomes much harder for a person to be healthy.
Yeah.
And this statement kind of resonates with me a lot because and to come out of it, it involves a lot of self-reflection. And this is for non-Adivasi bhikkhus. Stop putting the uh, um, this entire कि आदिवासी आके हमें सिखाएंगे. Like stop doing that. There are resources online. Please go ahead. Please read. Because a self-reflection, like a little amount of self-reflection is needed. And we live in this age of internet where you can access resources and learn and unlearn your own ways. So stop asking Adivasis, okay, ठीक है, मतलब क्या करना है, मतलब okay, we are there to engage, but at the same time, don't put the entire burden on us.
Thank you, Christy. So that we have two more questions. So I'm reading out one. Could you also speak about Adivasi land acquisition issues in West Bengal, and also development with respect to how most spheres here are dominated by upper caste Bhadraloks, in quote unquote.
West Bengal is uh, um, okay. It would be difficult for me to comment on land acquisition because I've not read enough on that. Um, but I
Right.
can talk of this Bhadralok thing. Um, so I just remember one incident again for tea gardens only that so, uh, so some of our like some of my friends they got selected for the graduation program in uh, Karnataka in a university in Karnataka, Mangalore University. So they were all going, and it was a group of like 20 plus students were there. They were all going, and we went to the station there to drop them. And so, like, it was a big group that we were all there in the station. And कुछ देर बाद वहाँ का जो रेलवे का जो पुलिस है they come to us and ask us हाँ ठीक है कहाँ जा रहे हो. We clarified हाँ they are students, they are going to study and this is their ID and this is the paper we showed and all of that happened. Then again this police goes back and comes with a senior official and tells again starts inquiring नहीं सबका document check करना पड़ेगा ये वो and तो फिर उसके बाद हम रिव्यूअर कंफ्यूज है, लेकिन हमने तो डॉक्यूमेंट्स आपको दिखा दिया, लेटर सब दिखा दिया, फिर से क्यों चेक कर रहे हो. लाइक नहीं नहीं नहीं, तुम लोग ये जरूर तुम लोग दिल्ली विल्ली भेज दो काम कराने के लिए, पढ़ने के लिए नहीं जा रहे। मतलब आदिवासी है, एंड दिस वाज लिटरली द स्टेटमेंट कि आदिवासी है चामाकांत से कैसे मतलब पढ़ने के लिए कैसे जा रहे हैं। So the entire understanding, colonial understanding ki matlab the Adivasis, and if they come from tea garden, then they would go out. If they're going out, then that means they're going as domestic worker, or they're being, but not for education.
Well, we have like many books written by especially Bhadraloks on specifically Adivasi communities that have been rejected by Adivasi communities. Yeah. So there's one more question, Christy. Second. Yeah. So it's in the chat. Wouldn't you say that any mental health practice or intervention stripped of social context and social intersections is nothing more than clinical jargon in isolation that's been mainstreamed to the point that anything that challenges it sounds radical with the negative connotation of radical? Is this experience of being radical resonating with you or people talking about these intersections?
I agree with the statement.
Sorry?
I'm just saying I agree with what Ria has written here. So, like mental health intervention stripped out of social context, and mental health practice by large is stripped out of social context.
Yeah.
It is very much individualized in nature, and this the it is a mental health professional and client relationship where the client is the has the sole responsibility of making changes, uh, and the in I guess very few professionals kind of try to address or talk about the social context um, within the therapy room. Um, uh, and I agree with what Ria is writing here. Is
Yeah.
it is nothing more than clinical jargon. And the moment anyone talks about it, it is like, हाँ तुम ज़्यादा radical हो रहे हो, ये social changes तो नहीं हो सकते हैं. मतलब ये therapy room में हम कैसे ये changes करें? But what is important is addressing it and making sure that the quote unquote client knows that it is not their issue alone. There are larger forces, there are larger forces that is creating these issues for them, and the issue or the problem is outside them. So it is important to address it in this way, rather like of course we understand कि वो larger social changes नहीं होंगे therapy room में, but it is important to talk about it and make the person know कि हाँ ठीक है, it is not your issue alone and there are larger forces that is causing it.
Thank you. I mean, this happened to us as well, right? Many times. Yeah. Anyway, let's get to questions. We have two more questions. In your own understanding or research, issues.
Hello. Divya, your video is start. Okay.
Hello.
Hi, I can hear.
Hi, Christy. So I think there is an issue with Divya's network. I will take the question. Divya is back. Sorry. Hi, Divya. We lost you for a while.
Yeah.
I was just going to take the question that you were reading. Maybe you can take it now again, now that you're here.
Yeah.
I read the question. It's
Yeah.
Sneha's question you're referring to, right?
Yeah.
So, honestly, I think we all mental health issues per se, matlab, we need to understand that mental health issues or mental health concerns is it is difficult to say कि इतने percentage लोगों को mental health issues है. For in my understanding, I feel कि there are social everyone to some extent in their lifetime goes through some concerns, mental health concerns. It I'm not saying with respect to mental uh, uh, like I'm not saying with respect to mental illness here, but mental health concerns, mental health issues are there for everyone, and that is something that is my understanding. There are, uh, of course, there are people who have जिनके लिए शायद मेंटल हेल्थ इश्यूज थोड़ा ज्यादा सिवियर होंगे तो उनको मतलब and some might need medical intervention, some might not need medical intervention, but mental health issues in general is prevalent throughout. That is what is my understanding. Maybe Divya can add.
Sorry, my internet got a little unstable, but I think you've covered most of it. But with regards to specifically Blue Dawn, we haven't invested anything in research per se, so I might not be able to answer the statistical question. But what kind of issues that Mahujan students experience, this is something that I can talk about. It's more similar to what Christy was also saying, right? We have seen our students dying. There was Rohit Vemla, there was Payal Tadvi, there is Anita. So all the students' deaths that happen of our students get considered under died because of depression or committed suicide, but never the aspect of died because of discrimination, died because someone bullied them because of their social location, never made headline. So I think that's also something that affects us in terms of even thinking of the fact that we might have we might so if there are any questions, please send us. If there are any more questions, please do forward because we are going to close.
Neha,
Yeah,
there is one more question. I'll just read it out.
Okay, yeah.
Which type of mental health issue is the most common amongst tribal population? So that again going back to what we were discussing. Mental health discourse in itself is a colonial construct in many ways. So the moment we talk of mental health problems, they would give labels like alcoholism or acute fatal, or this term FAC, some acute alcoholism term, the full name is there. Um, uh, they would term that as a mental health concern, but not looking at this alcoholism that they're talking about is not specific to Adivasi tribal communities. It is prevalent across. Second thing, we also need to look at the root causes. Like for me, I cannot locate, okay, this is a specific mental health issue that is there, or this is the specific mental health quote unquote diagnosis that I can give, okay, Adivasi communities may prevalent here. But what is crucial to me is what has caused those uh, like diagnosis and how colonial is that diagnosis per se. So, for example, alcoholism, it is a cultural practice as well, and the moment you term it as a mental health disorder, then where it is not a mental health disorder, people yeah, in general, it is a cultural practice as well in many Adivasi communities. So you cannot just term it as a disorder. There are instances where it escalates and it becomes beyond a certain, beyond the person's, how to say, um, and the person is not able to take up that alcoholism. It goes beyond them. but it is not specific to Adivasis per se. It is in general prevalent everywhere in all people from ranging from all communities. So just saying, okay, this mental health issue is prevalent in Adivasi communities is something I would not agree with. Uh, like just associating हाँ ये आदि disorders community पे है. Okay. I do not know I made myself clear or not. I was just here and there.
Yes, thank you, Christy. Also, if there's anything anyone wants to ask, please send across now. I'm also reposting the link to the smart workshop that's going to happen. If anyone here wants to take part or know someone who wants to take part, yeah. Okay. So I think that's yeah. I think that's about it. But thank you. Okay, there is that's what I was getting to in the conclusion. So someone asked, how do we follow your work and voice? Christy, you want to answer?
So yeah, there Blue Dawn is there in Instagram, and we have a website as well. Um, the Blue the
Blue
Blue
dot
Dawn, if you
.org. I'll type it out.
.org.
As well as Christy, yeah, Christy is a wonderful writer, and series that he did. Christie's articles. They already wrote some on Adivasi resurgence. There is one that is latest, and on First Force as well as Youth Ki Awaaz. And there have been other voices that you can also check out. Adivasi resurgence being one of the media sources that you can refer to. Yeah.
इसके अलावा there is another Instagram page that you can follow, Adivasi Drishyam. Uh, that this page again I love a lot. Like it talks of it talks of Adivasi communities, their culture, their practices, values, and it does not have that Diku gaze. So I love that page and the way it is done.
Okay, thank you, Christy, for sharing the resources as well. And yeah, so I think we'll end the session here. Thank you everyone for taking part in this session and listening to us. And thank you, Christy and Smart, for having us. I hope it's Adivasi Drishyam, people are asking. Sorry, I keep bouncing between thank you and questions.
I'll just type out the name.
But yeah, this has been a really good session, Christy. Thank you for all your insights, and thank you, Smart, for having this series of conversations. So, if you don't know, Smart does these expressive conversations as a series. They have been doing it, so please check them out on their profile time to time. And thank you. Satvik, if you want to add any closing
Thank you everyone for being here, and thank you, Divya. This, moderating this, facilitating this. Thanks a lot, Christy, for making time for us. Yeah, it was just wonderful. Thanks a lot, both of you. And thanks everyone for being here.
Thank you everyone for
I see so many of our friends here. Oh. Hi, you know who.
Christy and Divya, just wait a minute. I'll Yeah, that's all. I will get in touch with both of you. I mean, I will keep bugging with stuff. Hopefully, there is nothing much at the moment. With respect to, I will need a small. I would like, if you are open to it, a small kind of a. I had sent Christy. I'll call and speak about it tomorrow. I don't want to kind of
Yeah.
take your Saturday time.
Yeah.
I'll call you on Monday or Tuesday. I will, like, you will 5-10 minutes ka work is there for you. I will tell you what it is. Other than that, I'll keep posting whatever applications we get in. We kind of I'll tell you, and then you said you will have that form. You said
Yeah.
we'll keep sending those who have registered that form, and then the responses I'll forward it. Yeah.
Thank you. Bye. Have a good night, everyone. Bye.
Bye. Good night.
You,
Bye.
good night. Thanks a lot, Christy.